All right, so I'm going to talk about the worst place I've worked at thus far. Now, keep in mind, I've only worked at 2 places, including this place, and it was very, very shitty. I'm not gonna lie. Basically, my first job, let's just kind of get into that. Some of y'all in the comments be liking to say some stuff like, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so my first ever job was actually like a retail place. I worked at a discount store. A lot of y'all know about it. It's just like Marshall's and TJ Maxx. I'm not really gonna say what it is because I don't want to, talk about that company. We're talking about this other company that ain't got nothing to do with this company. If you can guess where I got this shirt, if you ever seen this little hoodie crop top before, then you know where I work. Okay. Anyways, I decided to grab another job so I can grab a bag because I needed the money. And it was working out pretty cool for like a week. It was working out pretty cool. So I worked at Red Lobster. That's where I worked. The reason why I got that job is because mom has been begging me to get that job because she used to manage there. Years ago, she used to manage there for like 15 plus years or something like that. Yeah, she always talked about like the ups and downs about it. And I'm like, okay, well, my retail job has ups and downs. So, I mean, any job has ups and downs, so it'll be fine. Wrong. It was not fun. I went up in there for the interview, and they didn't even know my mom worked there or anything. So I basically got the job by just pure, personality and the way I talk, I present myself and all that stuff. And I went up in there. The interview process was fine. I met the front end manager. At the time, she wasn't the front of the house manager. She was I think she was the service manager or something. But I interviewed with her. I didn't interview with the front of the house when I should have. We'll get to that in a second. Interviewed with her. I'm not gonna say her name. She was very nice. She's actually the only person that I actually liked there. And besides this other girl, I'm not gonna say her name. She was a host. So there's only 2 people I liked there, and it was one manager and one host. And it's very rare to even like your managers, from what I've heard. But my other job, I loved all my managers pretty much. Not love, but I can tolerate them. Anyway, so yeah, I got the job, and after 2 interviews with that manager and then the general manager, I feel like she was on something. She was like tweaking. She was always laughing every like 5 seconds, but I was like, whatever. I was hired as a hostess. That's what I applied for. My parents wanted me to apply as a server because servers make tips, and then you can get out of there pretty early. They can get cut, especially if you were watching this and you work in any type of fast food, or not really fast food, but like a restaurant type of environment. You know about servers. I think it happens to pretty much every place. They get cut after a certain amount of time, or just how the algorithm goes, really. But I was a host. I was not about to be serving because I've never worked in food and I needed to get my feet wet a little bit. But I ended up getting my feet soaked because it was horrible. So my first week there, I was training during the weekdays, and that was cool because I was training with somebody who knew what she was doing. And then I met, the crew, kind of. Not all the crew, because the crew is actually very big. There's even certain servers that were like, I had like leave. They called for leave and stuff, so they were gone for like a year plus or 6 months or anything like that. I met everybody. I even met the manager my first day when I was training, the one that was supposed to give me my interview but didn't because I don't know what he was doing. But it turns out he ended up quitting the day that I started training. Like, literally as soon as my training day was over at 4 o'clock when I left, he quit because he couldn't deal with the other managers anymore. So that was a warning sign number 1. Like, how can you not deal with the other managers, like, as a manager yourself? So I ended up, staying and continuing training because I only met him briefly for 1 day, so I didn't really even know what was going on with him. But all I know is that he was not really fit to be a manager because he kept going outside every like 10-15 minutes on his phone. He would be on his phone in the bar. He wasn't even a manager in my eyes. Even though I've only met him for one day, he didn't seem like a manager. He ended up quitting that day and just walking out. Not no 2 weeks, no nothing. Supposedly they knew that he was going to be leaving soon, but not as sudden. And that was kind of a red flag, number one. I should have left with him, but I didn't. And so the week went on. Everything was fine. I was training with this girl. She was like a year younger than me. She was like 18. But she was on top of everything. Like, she had like superior training skills. And she trained me on how to do a lot of things. But yeah, when I got to the weekend, she didn't work on the weekend. She only worked weekdays. And then there's this one guy who was, I believe he was 2 years or a year older than me, or maybe the same age or something. I don't really remember. He worked the weekends, and I haven't met him yet because it was my first week. So I was kind of nervous because I'm not really like that talkative when I'm in a new environment and I don't be knowing people. So I was kind of nervous about that, especially since it was a guy, because I'm more comfortable talking to females than men. I ended up working with him on the weekend. This dude did not know what he was doing. Like, he knew what he was doing, but he didn't know how to train properly, or didn't really care to train properly. So in reflection of that, whatever he taught me is what I learned and I absorbed, and I trusted him. So I'm doing whatever he wants me to do, and honestly, that was not the right choice because everybody got mad at me because I was messing up everything. And so as the weeks go on, I've only worked there for like 2 months tops, and I actually quit. I literally didn't show up for my shift, and I'll get to that soon. I was working on the weekends with this dude. He was absolutely a horrible person. He would talk about almost every customer, every server, everybody, like just everybody, like for no reason. Like, he just didn't have anything to do but to drink his little beverage that he got for free in the back and talk about folks, because either when it was slow or he just felt like talking about people, he would. And I didn't really get that. I mean, honestly, every job we kind of talk about the customers, not like in a always mean way or anything. Like if they're mean to us, we're like, oh, look at that girl, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, she was so rude. Oh, yeah, I know, girl. But this guy, he was just being rude to be rude. Like, he didn't have no filter. You know, he wasn't like, I'm sure he was talking about me behind my back, but I don't really care about what people say about me, because I know everybody talks about everybody, and I got a bigger backbone than that. What I didn't like was the servers. I didn't even have a problem with the customers, really. I had a main problem with the servers and the host. That dude, not the other girl that works on the weekdays, the guy who works on the weekends, and the servers is what I had a problem with. I also had a little bit of a problem with 2 of the managers because they didn't know how to do their job, or they were just really rude for no reason, knowing that I'm new and then knowing that I never worked in a food environment before. I started working weekends. Every weekend they would schedule me Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. Never Friday, never Thursday, never Wednesday, none of that. I told them that I was not going to be available Mondays and Wednesdays because I go to school, and they're like, okay, whatever, we're just going to schedule you on the weekends. We're not going to even give you the time or the day. So they scheduled me weekends. They said that it would start to pick up in February because of Lobster Fest or whatever, and so I was like, okay, that means I'll get more shifts then. Girl, I couldn't even make it to the shift. I was done. I was done with the management. I was done with the service, the customer service, all that, the host experience, service, whatever. Basically, there's an algorithm that they go by on the computer. When a customer comes into the store, we have a certain amount of servers for that day, and it goes in a certain order. And I guess the captains, which are the main hosts, the main servers, they usually are behind the host stand, and that's where the captains usually take their tables and stuff like that, and they get more tables than anybody else, which is a little bit unfair in my opinion, but I guess they're more experienced, hence why they're called captains. We would give them more tables. They could take up to like 5 tables plus, but we would have to give them 3 tables before we give the bar any tables, before we get, you know, any other regular server any seated anywhere else in their section, if that makes sense. So the algorithm on the computer is almost like when you're in school, you know, those seating charts the teachers used to have. I don't even know if they still do this, but like they probably have a computer too. But you know, when you go into the classroom in high school or whatever, and they have a seating chart and they mark you if you're absent or something, or it has the tables and it shows, you know, your name, just like that, except everything was sectioned, kind of like a seating chart, just the same thing. So they would section off hosts by table numbers. So you'd be table 21, 30, 32, and that would be section 17, just like random. You know what I mean? Servers would get mad because they wouldn't get enough tables, or they were getting too many tables, and it's just like, can you pick one? Can you pick a side? Because you don't even know how much tables you want. And it started to get mad annoying because I didn't even know how to like open a section. I've been working there for about, at this point, where I didn't even know how to open a section. I've been working there for like 3 weeks. Didn't even know how to open a section. I had to teach myself how to do that, which isn't a problem, but it is a problem when the freaking main host guy who's supposed to be training me, I didn't have no manager train me at all. I only had this host train me, and not even the training videos train me, because the training videos were for servers. They don't even have a training video for hosts. They have it for servers. So whatever host thing I was supposed to learn was coming from this one dude who didn't know what he was talking about. I would have worked with the other girl who works the weekdays. Let's just call her Rebecca. I would have worked with Rebecca on the weekdays if they would have gave me the weekdays like I requested, but they didn't give me that. I only requested Monday, Wednesday off once again because I had school, but I was willing to take double shifts during the weekdays, and they were like, no. So I was working with this dude, and he literally like talk about people, talk about new people who would come in, especially this one server. I'm not gonna say her name. She had a very like old school name. He would talk about her name every time she come in. Like, oh, what kind of name is that? And I'm just like, really? And move on. Like, are you really that hurt by her name? She was kind of strange, but she was nice, so I was tolerating her too. She got hired like a week after I got hired, so I was kind of just hanging around with her because, you know, that was literally one of my only like actual kind of friends there, because everybody else was kind of fake. He would just like leave me up there to do stuff by myself, and then guess what? You'd think I would ask the managers what I should do. Couldn't ask the managers what I should do because they didn't even know how to work the host stand. Not even the general manager knew how to work the host stand, which is the computer. She didn't know anything about the computer, or how to seat a table, or how to assign a table, or how to seat a guest, or anything like that. Like, she knows how to seat, but she doesn't know how to put it in the computer, so, you know, everybody gets a certain amount of tables and the algorithm continues to be a working flow. Speaking of her, she's just lazy. First of all, she was in the back the whole time. Speaking of the back, the kitchen was absolutely atrocious. There was stuff everywhere, all over the floor. I expected, you know, obviously a certain amount of degree of filthiness because it's a kitchen and you get backed up pretty easily. But even on the slow days, the kitchen was a mess. There was stuff on the floor, stuff everywhere, just nastiness. I could barely walk in there some days because the floor will be just soaking wet all the way to the line cooks from the dishwasher. Like, are you for real? We couldn't even walk back there. Even with non-slip shoes, I had to tiptoe in that water because I was gonna fall and bust my behind. And I was not trying to do that. Once that one dude quit, one that, you know, was there when I first got hired and then quit, they made a server a pro. And a pro is basically a mini manager, which a person who just opens the store and waits for the actual manager to come in, and they act like their manager for a certain amount of time. Usually their whole shift, they act like a little mini manager. But the only pro that was there was this guy. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was a big a-hole. He would like literally talk down to me in front of guests. It was very unprofessional. I've never had that happen to me before, even at my retail job. Like, if somebody wants to talk to you, you pull me aside and you say how you feeling. You don't talk to me in a certain way in front of a guest. Like, are you stupid? He was just getting mad at me because he was so frustrated because I was new and I didn't know everything because I wasn't being trained well. And then he gonna have the nerve to tell me, oh, So you seem like you don't really know what you're doing, da, da, da. And this is a particular day where I came in and I had to work, and the host that's supposed to be training me, this is like my third day on the weekend. I believe it was like a Sunday or maybe a Saturday. Didn't show up for his shift, scheduled to 10:45, and I was scheduled to 11:45. So I came in and they over there, I have two servers at the freaking host stand, not knowing what they doing, especially this fake manager. And so I go up there and they're like, you're the only one who came in, da, 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 as a host, you know, other dude didn't make it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So I'm looking at the computer, I'm trying to open sections, and then this guy will come over there like, yeah, it doesn't seem like you know what you're doing, da, 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 da. He's like, if you don't feel like you're being trained, you need to say something. I'm like, how am I supposed to know if I'm being trained? I never even worked here. Like, he's teaching me stuff, but he ain't teaching me, like, I guess everything. I thought he taught me everything, but he didn't, because I obviously don't know how to do this. Why don't you teach me, Mr. Manager? Oh, he can't because he don't know how to work it either. It's just like, what is going on here? I know I'm not the only one going through this, because there was other videos of people who are going through the same thing I am with these horrible managers and these horrible servers and hostess and everything. So basically, I was working there and this dude was just not doing his job right. I remember one time I come up in there, obviously I have a septum piercing, and one of the managers said something to me about my piercing being in, and I know we're not supposed to have piercings in, but the reason why I put it in is because I seen 3 other servers with holes in their face and piercings and stuff, like literally a Marilyn Monroe piercing right here, a septum, and gauges, huge gauges with tats exposed. And in the manual, it says you cannot have any type of body art exposed, any type of body jewelry exposed. Earrings are acceptable. Septum rings are not acceptable. Any face piercings are not acceptable. Anything like that. And this girl was coming in almost every single shift I had, she would come in with those piercings. Day I go in the back to go grab like a napkins or something for some guest, the freaking manager gonna tell me like, oh, you're not supposed to have that in your nose, you need to take that out. And she did not say it very nicely, like how I said it. She said it very bitchy, actually. So I went to the front, didn't take it out. I went to the front and I asked that girl, what's going on with this? Like, does anybody say anything to you about that? And she's like, yeah, they do, but you know, I always get away with it. I never even like take it out, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, really? So why is she telling me to take it out? Why is everybody on me? And also, I had a whole bunch of hair before, when I worked there, before I cut it off. And I also had my wigs. So I was wearing my wigs, and one of the general manager literally has the same hairstyle as my wig, except her hair is fried and it is burned. And I might have actually been permed, but it was flat ironed, and it was like literally to right here. Didn't touch her shoulders. I have a wig to right here. Literally doesn't touch my shoulders. I come in there and this fake manager gonna tell me to put my hair up. I'm like, boy, first of all, this is a wig, not even a full lace wig. How am I supposed to put my hair in a ponytail, go have the whole net sticking out in the back? Okay, how is that supposed to work? I'm not trying to, you know, get in no fight with nobody. I'm not trying to deal with nobody, because he already got in a fight with one of the hostess a week prior, and it was just a disaster because the manager didn't even do nothing because she don't want to do nothing. So I went to my car and grabbed a little hair clip and clipped it up in the bathroom, so at least my, you know, the back of my neck wasn't all exposed, and my lace, or not my lace, but my net, you know, wasn't showing or whatever. I'm just like, dude, like, are you for real? So, and he was like, oh yeah, thank you, whatever. And then when I cut my hair, you know, I didn't have any problems with, you know, walking in the kitchen with my scalp exposed, because my hair was obviously bald-headed short. So that was fine. Everything else was not. Manager at Red Lobster, I'm not gonna say her name, but we're gonna call her Latonia. Latonia, she was back there cooking every shift. Well, I would never see her even on the floor doing anything. No, seeing how the guests were, seeing how the servers, you know, not the servers, but the guests, no customer service, no anything like that. And There was times where servers wouldn't even pick up their tables. Like I would seat them in their section, or somebody else would seat them in their section, and they wouldn't even like serve them, and then they would just get up and leave. And it was specifically this one dude who was on leave for a year and came back, and his table wasn't, you know, picked up. They just left. They were like, we ain't being served, so we leaving. I've had plenty of things that times that happen with other servers too. And I'm just like, how are y'all even working here? How are y'all even a server? There was even girls who were younger than me serving, and I'm like, are you for real right now? Like, y'all need to get it together. Like, I don't care how old you are, but can you at least, you know, figure out what your job is? Hello. That was basically my experience, and I was not about to deal with it anymore. And what really broke the line for that for me, like what really crossed the line, was when my manager, who never even sees me, or she kind of does see me sometimes, but I pass by her, you know, I'm wearing these pants, and I guess you're supposed to wear slacks, and I knew that, but also I would see servers and other hosts not wearing slacks, wearing like spandex clothing, and I'm the only one wearing slacks, and they're getting away with it, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to wear that too. Like, it's more comfortable anyway, and I look more cute wearing it. I want to look cute. So I'm wearing, like, you know, little spandex business pants. And I guess, you know, she didn't like that because she told me to go to the store and go pick up pants during my shift. So I was like, okay, I will do that. Like, I'm not trying to, you know, fight with nobody. I'm just trying to get here to get a bag. So I was like, I'll just go buy some cheap little slacks from the store, and I ended up buying some. And I had drove there in my car, and it was right across the street, literally like 2-minute walk, but I took my car and I just drove over there real quick because I was trying to be real fast, and then grabbed my little slacks, and then came back within 15 minutes. Dude who don't know how to train nobody, he gonna go to the same store, right? Because he's like, oh, well, I need to go to the store too, because you know, the way my situation's set up, I didn't take my clothes out the washing machine this morning, and I put them in the dryer, and they smell like mildew, and now the whole front end of the store smelling like mildew. I didn't even smell anything, to be honest with you. Like, I know what mildew smells like. I plenty of times I left my stuff in the washing machine and forgot to put it in the dryer, and it smelled like mildew. Usually you would rewash that. Usually you would even have pants ready before that, so what are you even doing? I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna be like, well, you can't go, because obviously at that point I know how to seat. This is like right towards the end of where I'm about to like quit my job. At that point I already know what I'm doing. I know how to seat everything because I basically taught myself how to do it because nobody wanted to teach me how to do anything. Anyways, he went to the store. He said, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to so-and-so whoop-de-whoop store and go grab me some pants. And I'm like, okay. So he said he was going to the same store I went to. So I'm thinking, okay, 15 minutes tops, maybe 20. Actually, shorter than that, because, you know, the store I went to, they have way more men's pants than they do women's pants. So it shouldn't really be hard for him to find something. And he was a pretty lengthy dude with a pretty average body type. So I would figure that he would find some pants within like 5 minutes and then come back to the store, because they all basically look the same. So I'm sitting there waiting. This fool don't come back for 2 hours. 2 hours. I'm up there by myself on the weekend while it's super busy, and everybody's up in my ear yelling at me at the host stand, which is also another problem when you have your servers coming up to you yelling at you at the host stand. Where's the management? Where's the managers? Like, why are you letting your servers come over here and yell at me because I'm seating everybody within the algorithm I have to seat everybody in based on the computer telling me? So what am I supposed to do? And then when I go out of rotation, everybody get mad too. So it's like, I can't win with nobody. I can't win with nobody. So anyways, this fool, 2 hours gone, and everybody's like, where's so-and-so at? Where's so-and-so? I'm like, he's still at the store. He's still at the store. He's still at the store. And I'm like, I don't know when he's ever coming back. He probably isn't coming back. I was just basically prepared to just work the whole shift from 11:45 to 4 o'clock by myself, because this fool was gone for 2 hours. So I'm waiting. After 2 hours passed, he gonna come back with the new pants, right, bag of food, and some perfume. He was like, yeah. He gonna come in like, yeah, so I went to the store and I got me some pants, and I got me some cologne too, because, you know, it smelled good. I'm like, boy, what are you doing? You over here shopping? You know, no. You over here got a job to do. You getting paid for 2 hours to go get food now and to go shopping. Like, what you think this is? Instacart? Like, no. This ain't no Instacart. This ain't no Amazon cart service. This ain't no Uber Eats. Like, what are you doing? You should be here doing your job, not leaving me behind, because I'm obviously still kind of new. I actually know everything because you haven't taught me everything. So I'm doing everything by myself. And he don't care nothing about that. He coming in here with a bag of like Panera bread or some kind of food with some bread in it because he thick anyway. And, you know, perfume, some cologne, some Burberry or some whatever, and some little slacks. And the slacks look the same as his other ones, wrinkled and mildewed. Where the pants at, fool? And then what had happened after that was I had a shift, normal shift, 11:45. We usually get the schedules like a week in advance. It tells you when you work. And so the night before I had to go to work, I'm over there sitting in my bed watching TV or whatever, you know, about to get ready to go to sleep. And then boom, I get a notification from Hot Schedules, which is the scheduling app that they, you know, give us our schedules on. And this I gotta come in at 9 a.m. now. Also 11:45. I'm like, what is going on? It's a meeting for Lobster Fest for February. I'm like, no. The reason why I said no is because I need more than a 10-hour notice. They gave me a 10-hour notice basically. No, actually less than that. It was like 10 o'clock at night. So what is that? 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not a 10, but a 12 or ish, whatever, I can't count. Notice. I need a 20, I don't even need a 24. I need a whole week notice. I don't know. Like, what was that? 9 a.m.? You want me to come in at 9 a.m., so I gotta get up at 7 a.m., get ready, and then drive my butt over there at like 8:30 just to get there at 9 a.m. for some 15-minute talk about some Lobster Fest, which only the hosts were going to. There was no servers there. I was like, nope, I'm not going. They've been treating me like booty hole, and I'm not going up in there. So I just basically said, nope, I'm staying home. Y'all can just terminate me because I'm not going up in there no more. I'm tired of the service. I'm tired of everybody getting mad at me because, you know, a certain customer, you can't refuse to seat a customer if they want to sit at a certain area, and that's in the manual. That's what the managers tell you and everything. So they get mad at me if it's in somebody else's section, and then I gotta find somebody else. And then I had one lady, freaking server lady, yell at me because I'm trying to figure out who's gonna seat this one table, and she don't want to see nobody because she was up all night gambling at the casino and she's tired. Then don't come to work, hunty. Don't come to work. Don't even work here. Go work at the casino since you want to gamble so much. Like, come on now. All these people were just making excuses. Like, for real. Literally, the week before I quit my job / got terminated because I didn't show up for those 2 shifts. No call, no show. I didn't call them. Why am I gonna call you? No. Y'all weren't helping me when I was struggling. Y'all weren't, you know, saying nothing when the servers were over there yelling at me, degrading me in front of guests. So why would I call you and tell you I'm about to quit my job? Boo, you guessed it. I quit. Okay? If I don't show up, if I don't call, you could already take me off the schedule, which they did, and I was happy about because I was like, I'm not showing up. But the week before, like I was saying, before I quit, we have to roll silverware. We have, if you know Red Lobster, if you're a regular, because there's a lot of regulars actually, and there are a lot of old people, which I don't mind, but we have dinner people. So if you work from 4 to close, or from 4 to anytime after 4, you're going to be rolling lunch silverware, which is a napkin, like paper napkins, and a little tab that you stick it so the napkin can stick to the silverware, and it's all nicely, you know, decorated and folded or whatever. So that's what they did. I never did that. I always did the dinner silverware, and the dinner silverware was some linen that you get in the back, and you roll it, this 2 forks and a knife in there, and you roll that up. And I literally was, my whole shift, I was like, I'm not dealing with none of y'all, because all y'all yell at me. That's all y'all want to do is yell at me and degrade me and, you know, get mad at me because, you know, And I always ask for help. I always ask questions. I do everything, and they always act like they're so like upset about it, or they're like, oh, she's asking more questions. Like, I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to be getting trained. I can't just come up in here and you just expect me to know everything. I already even told y'all I never worked here before or any type of food restaurant. Once again, but anyways, I was just back there the whole shift rolling somewhere, and now I had like carpal tunnel for like a whole week and some change because of that one shift where I was rolling silverware for 4-5 hours because somebody didn't roll silverware the night before. And you know what? I didn't mind either because I was back there rolling it up because I did not feel like knowing nobody at the front end of the house. So I did that, and I guess he got mad at me when I did that because I wasn't there basically my whole shift. I was in the back rolling silverware. So the next shift, which was actually a Sunday, which was actually my last day, he was in the back rolling silverware the whole time. And I honestly didn't mind because that's what I did, but still, like, for real. But yeah, that was the end of that. A few things I would like to say about before you work at any type of fast food or food restaurant. Know the place, know the environment, know the managers, know how they work. Ask people questions, ask them if they like their job. I was asking folks, every new person that I met that I haven't met there before, I would be like, so how do you like working here? And every single one of them were like, I mean, it pays my bills. I mean, I get money. Never was there one person who said, oh yeah, I like working here. Yeah, it's cool. Like, it's cool. Like, everybody's fine. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, like, I enjoy it. Nobody said that. What really made me mad, while I'm not working here anymore, I have not got my money from my deposit. I haven't got my direct deposit, and they closed my account, and they basically are holding my money because I've been terminated from my job because I have a line card, which is, basically a company card that they give you. Is a Visa, like just like a regular debit card, except, it's online, everything's online, and you can pay for it at the grocery store or whatever, just like any regular card, but it's just like a online type of different banking, and they closed it, and now I have to wait a week and maybe actually 2 weeks for them just to send me my money, which isn't a lot technically because I worked only weekends, but I still want my money. So I actually have to wait now. And I wonder how it would have been if I even formally quit. It probably would have been the same. And I even called back there. I didn't want to talk to nobody, but my mom basically made me call them and asking for my money. So I called and I asked, and of course I got the mean bitch lady that I had to talk to, and the manager, and I was like, so yeah, sorry that I didn't come into work, obviously I quit and I was terminated. I'm having personal issues. I'm having issues with this job that I don't like to work at, your job, your company. Where's my check? Like, do you guys have my check there? Because, my mom used to work there and she told me that they would have my check. They cash you out as soon as you are terminated or you leave. So I'm like, where's my check at? And I call and they're like, we don't have any check. In the most rudest, snottiest, angriest voice she can probably give me. We don't have a check. We don't have your money. What are you talking about? Okay. I was like, goodbye. Click. You don't have my money? Who has my money? Before I clicked the phone up, I was like, I'm just gonna call payroll then. Should I call payroll? She's like, yeah, you should call payroll. I'm like, okay, then I will. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your life working at Red Lobster, bitch. So, that's how I ended my job at Red Lobster. Keep in mind, when you work in a food restaurant, you have to deal with drama and people you don't like and managers you don't like. And I don't know how those people deal with it. I mean, at least for Red Lobster, I don't think every place is like that. And that's literally the truth. There's nothing I have seen that has been a lie. And I am one of them who was added to the story. Do not work at Red Lobster, because you don't want to fight every hoe up in there like I did. I was ready to throw hands with that pro and his bald head. It was about to be bald against bald. We was about to fight. But that's the end of this video. I hope y'all like my little rant, my little whatever. I do have more videos coming out that I'm recording. Some of them are a little controversial. And I would love if you guys would subscribe and like this video if you liked it. Comment. I always like to read the little comments y'all be saying. And yeah, get ready for some controversial stuff. I do want to get back to some health videos and, you know, stuff like that, because my BV video blew up. I was not expecting that. Like, I didn't know how many people were going through the same stuff I went through. So there's a lot of stuff, health problems I've had that I could talk to y'all about that I solved on my own. So if y'all want to see that, y'all let me know. I'm probably just gonna post it anyway if you don't let me know, but let me know. Bye y'all. Love y'all.